Welcome along to round number 5 of the Tier 2 season. We are now in the Americas region. We've already got done our European stretch. Now we go to the Americas side of the world to start the halfway point of the season in just a little bit of time. It will be next week we'll start it in Canada. Either way, this is where we find out who is the real contenders, who's the pretenders, who will be the guys fighting for the Season 12 Tier 2 Championship. I'm your commentator for tonight, Ryan Searles. As always, alongside me is the previous winner of the circuit last season, Eoin McMoran, and welcome along, Eoin. You won last week in Singapore for Tier 1. It's probably a happy scene winning there once again. Probably happy to join the commentary box once again after a win in Tier 2 now.
Yes, I'm ecstatic. But I'm trying to sort out all the stuff right now. So just
In the meantime,
just leave me
I'll,
be for a few
alright.
minutes.
In the meantime, I'll go over what
Okay.
needs to I'll go over what needs to be gone over in the process, folks, because we have a lot of headlines to look forward to for tonight's event. Whether it come from inside the league or outside of the league, there's a lot that ends up happening midweek in RPL that we should talk about. So with that being said, let's get to it. In terms of our driver lineups for next season, let's tell you about it. Mentoki is full-time at Mercedes for Season 13 on next game. JTK will be back at Red Bull full-time. That'll be interesting. Alright, some team principal news. We got a lot to go over there. So, Zakaria is out of the Ferrari Academy. He was a reserve for the Academy. And after the Tier 2 event last week, he joined the Red Bull Academy as a reserve. Now he's the co-team principal of Red Bull because Cryptic steps down entirely from his management role, meaning Cookie will take over as the team principal of the Red Bull Academy. Zakaria, Red Bull co-TP now. They've got no Academy assistant. They had Cryptic, Cookie, and Zakaria in those three roles exactly just last week, or at the end of last week. Now with Cryptic stepping down, which was to be expected, you're going to have it be only Cookie and Zakaria. That's a little bit interesting to say the least. Zakaria back in a management role. I think the first time he's been back in a management role for the Academy side of things since the start of this game cycle, when he was in management with, I believe, either the Merc or Alpine Academy. I don't remember which one, but good to see him back managing something. I know Zakaria looking for that first win here in RPL still, I believe. So a few things outside of the racing aspect, or inside of the racing aspect, but not as important. Or maybe not as important to Tier 2 specifically. Formula Endurance has shut down. It sucks because we had a really good first season, and now the second season didn't see the exact attendance we would have wanted, but now we will probably be replacing that with F2 on Sundays or F2 on Saturdays come the next game cycle. Nothing for this game cycle specifically, but that will be in the next game cycle. So Formula Endurance, no longer a thing for RPL. We've got short qualifying now specifically for Tier 2. That was announced during last week's stream. With that said, short qualifying will take over Tier 2 rather than full qualifying, which is what it was previously. And one last thing as well in terms of that aspect before we get to our penalties to be served and other smaller notes. We've got a new rule book. We've got a new rule book, more professional. We'll have Eoin go over it at some point during the stream once he figures out the situation currently going on with one of the team principals and the lineups. We've also got as well standings to go over, which we will in a moment. Loans to go over, which we will in a moment. But I want to talk about the F124 beta, which has a lot of people talking. Some new things on next game. Some updated things in next game. Some things staying the same. A lot of people talking about it in the RPL main chat. So if there's any news specifically in terms of big things we should take note of, we will let you know. As for our loans for tonight's event and reserving appearances, let's go over it. Merton is in the Red Bull. He's got loaned out there for tonight's event. Bunky and Grandpa both missing. Redfire Tiger moved from AlphaTauri to Red Bull. Invade in Ferrari. He was here last time when we ran Texas in Season 9, well, actually the second to last time, we've got Dill making his debut in Alfa Romeo. Rapid Eoin has been moved to Alfa Romeo.
Quick question, Ryan. Was
Yes.
Red in the lineup the whole time for Red Bull?
Yes, I did see that.
Okay, and Zazzi was in the lineup as well before the lobby started, yes?
Zatsy was in the lineup just before the lobby started,
Okay,
yes.
so the only people who need
221.
to serve a quali ban are George, Formula Owen, and this OTL guy.
So OTL was not in the lineup before. George had that whole debacle. I think you figured out with him. I didn't see the chats. Zatsy has a qualifying ban due to penalty points. Wavy has a
Yes.
qualifying ban due to penalty points.
Does
And you
everyone know
mentioned one other name.
this? Just making sure they all know it. Tell me
Uh,
everyone who has a quali ban as well because of penalty
did,
points.
all right, due to penalty points, Zatsy and Wavy. But yeah, in terms of the F124 beta, we'll let you guys know if there's anything that we should look out for in terms of loans. I don't really think there's anything else we really have to talk about. Dill making his debut. He is in the Alfa Romeo. Actually, full time, I think, for them. He was supposed to race last week, but did not. Valk has missed the last 2 weeks. She's back. I think that's it. I think that's about it. Got a lot of qualifying bans to serve in this session due to last minute loans, last minute changes, last minute um penalty points released yesterday as well. In terms of our standings, let's go over that once and for all. We have yet to go over that. Welcome to the chat, 8 of you watching. 8 minutes into the stream. We've got J&T Gaming being the first American driver in Tier 2 to lead the championship. That's very big for J&T. Very big achievement there. I believe Skither led the championship when it was F1.5, but F1.5 stats don't really correlate with the stats of Tier 2. Two separate things there. But yeah, in the meantime, he leads over 12 points. Second place Grandpa. JTK and Hunted are tied for third place. They're 15 points back. Bonkers, who's not racing tonight, is fifth in the championship. And while that's being said, let's go over the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull lead by 5 points over Ferrari. McLaren 13 points back. Mercedes 14 points back. A 4-car race at the top of the table. Alpine and AlphaTauri are fighting not to finish in last place. They are separated by 3 points at the very bottom. In terms of the pole times, the last couple of seasons here in Tier 2 Texas or the other tiers such as F1 and FE that we've ran races in, we've had a 32.5, a 31.8, a 32.2, and a 31.6 end up being the 4 different pole times in the 4 races that are represented here on the F123 game cycle. Give your predictions in for tonight's event, chat, if you think we'll get into the 31.6s again like we had in Formula Endurance, or if we'll be anywhere toward the 32.5s like we had in Season 9 Tier 2. We're about to start a lap here, Owen, but do we have everything figured out in terms of who is serving what?
I hope so. Groggers crosses the finish line. It's an easy race ban on disqualification for him, so we will find out.
Well, he looks like he's getting ready to come back into the pits or start a lap. Don't know which one.
Perilously slow, perilously and it's game over.
So George, right here, I think is protesting what had happened to him.
That's unfortunate, though, isn't it? So, hello. Thank you.
I think we're gonna watch George though to see what he does here. He's got a Red Bull to the right side. This lap, what's gonna happen with him, Owen? Because he was supposed to serve a qualifying ban after his team principal had done a no-no and put someone else in the lineup over him, even though he is the full-time driver there at Williams. But because he was put in the lineup late, that rule still applies even if you're a full-time driver or reserve. It sucks for him, but the rules are the rules.
Well, we will see, because if he disqualifies himself from the session later, then he might be let off, as we've done that in the past.
Correct.
But if he tries to try and make an example and does anything, then he did say, "Oh, okay, if you give me a quality ban and disqualify me and give me a race ban, I'll just take everyone out." And if he does that, then obviously I'm gonna have to give him a league ban. So let's hope he doesn't just head here.
Well, let's see. He'll be the first one to cross the line and complete a lap, but we'll see what happens in terms of that after this event is over, or after the qualifying session is over in about 13 and a half minutes time and he's invalidated his lap time. So he's made sure he's not going to have a lap in, but he'll cross the line first anyway. Last season, he qualified in the top 10 here, George did, but his teammate, now Mythic, will cross the line to start a lap. Behind that, we've got JTK and Joe Wilson starting laps. How about we actually go on board with the Mercedes driver and go through what the circuit's like for you fellas watching in chat. There's a little bit over 10 of you in the chat this evening. OTL surfs his qualifying ban. Joe Wilson coming through turn 1. Lots of elevation there through turn 1 and lots of lines that people can run side by side through. As you get to the S's here, very, very tough on the track limits. You got to keep it on the track, and you got to be able to put it on those curbs without going over them. And through Sector 1, 25-4, Wavy surfs his qualifying ban. Meriton crosses the line. End of Sector 1, now out of the S's into Sector 2, out of Turn 10, now downhill to Turn 11 here. And Turn 11 can be tricky to get your braking wrong. It's the last corner before DRS gets applied, and that detection zone is in that run from Turn 10 to 11, so it can be tricky if you're wanting to play some DRS games. We've seen that happen in esports before, and esports even had an event today, Owen, so a lot of these drivers, if you want to be getting some data for what this event is going to be like, should have been watching that as he goes into Turn 12 now.
Just a bit of all the strategic advantage if they watch the esports race today. Maybe watch some of the hot laps and learn some of the lines. The championship leader goes provisional pole for the time being by the slimmest of margins. I believe Zazi had a qualifying ban, so I don't know what he's doing there.
That is correct. He did have a qualifying ban due to penalty points, not because of being put on the lineup late. Joe Wilson missed last week, I believe, or missed the week before that. Either one. And now crosses the line, 4th place. I've been pinged in the Discord server. I want to see if that's Twitch streams or something else. It is the Twitch streams. I'm going to check the Tier 2 chat and see what they're speaking about there. Nothing new there. Was it the last week or the week before that Joe Wilson missed? Yes, it was last week. We've got more cars crossing the line. Red Fire Tiger, he's a part of Red Bull for tonight's event, being called up due to the main drivers missing. We had this happen for him in Silverstone. Not the best of performances then, but he can redeem himself. Tadpole into the final sector now. Let's cover this final sector. No, he's out of fuel. We won't. Kipu's in the final sector, his teammate. How about this 16 through 18 section, kind of like Turkey, just a little bit reversed. It's right side you're committing to rather than the left side. And now turn 19 and 20 also can be tricky for track limits and traction. Across the line Kipu comes. He's not had the best start to the season that he could have, but he's 8th on the board. Who else do we have on track? RSF1 Invade invalidated his lap time. He raced here for Ferrari just 3 seasons ago in this event. He qualified P3. I'm looking for him to do the same maybe tonight. I would hope he can do the same maybe tonight. Qualify into that top 3 or top 5. Dill is making his debut here in RPL. Dill JG. He'll ride the curbs as he crosses the line. He'll go 7th fastest. That's not a bad lap time at all for an Alfa Romeo. Especially considering, Owen, the last 2 seasons that we've ran Texas, season 11 and season 9 for Tier 2, we've seen the car split be quite a lot. So fair play here to get it to 7th place.
It was very nice from Dill J. I hate when people have J and G next to their name because I always get the 2 words confused. It was a very nice lap. He's 2 times slower than Academy teammate Dominic.
Oh.
And was actually just messaging me inquiring on why he's received a qualifying ban.
Penalty points.
I told him penalty points, then he said I wasn't told, and I said I added you just before we read it up. And I mean, the whole I wasn't told thing, I'm not really taking as an excuse anymore because it's there in multiple channels how many penalty points you have.
You get pinged. You do get pinged. If it's at least due to penalty points, you get pinged in the penalty points section.
It is.
I also want to mention something that I don't mind mentioning on stream, but a lot of guys in chat are revealing who they're rooting for tonight. I don't think the stewards are going to be rooting for George because he's just challenged you to see you in the stewards. So,
Me?
yes, you. He said, at Eoin, see you in the stewards. We'll see
That's
what that
fine.
ends up causing. We got Valkyrie on a lap right now, and she's missed the last 2 weeks. It's not been great from her because she is called out last second both times. And last week, McLaren scored a podium with Tadpole. And the top 3 finishers in Monza, let's just go over something about that. It was Mintoki getting penalized after she got demoted to outside of the podium, promoting Tadpole and J&T up to the podium. But the entire podium sitters in Monza all had crashes at one point in that race. Valkyrie, let's see what she could do here around Texas tonight in that McLaren. It's been strong around here. Hunted took pole with it last season. Hunted's not racing tonight, but she is 9th place on our timing charts. RSF1 Invade will finally complete a lap. Out of the final corner he comes with DRS applied. He'll go 9th fastest. That's a little disappointing, but he's at least got a time in this time instead of invalidating his lap time. And George is back out on track, Owen.
Well, I mean, I'm not bothered about it. It's not my issue. It's his, and he's just thinking he's being funny and silly and all that. And but Zazi, what is he doing? Is what I have to question.
Well, we'll
That's not
find
gonna
out.
get you disqualified.
Yeah, people will
You
get
more
themselves
penalties. What did
heavily
Connor say that?
punished. What would you say?
Good. Oh,
I see what you mean by what is
stewards,
Zazi doing. Alrighty then.
He's not driving backwards. There we go.
Okay, I think he's trying to get himself disqualified here.
Oh,
Oh,
the game because
oh.
he was trying to he went to the pit
Oh,
lane.
don't hit somebody. He's lucky he's got no drivers entering that section. I think he's getting himself disqualified right now, which is the right way to reverse that penalty. He's doing what George should have been doing. We'll watch Dom. How about this, Owen? Dom has really done well here in Tier 2 thus far. He got the call up to Ferrari when it came to racing for them in Tier 1 at Monza. Or no, was it Monza? No, Singapore, excuse me, last weekend. And he was doing a decent job until he spun out. And he didn't qualify the best, but he was going to race a little bit better and couldn't do so. Now, for Haas, last week it was a chance to be inside the top 10, and compared to France, it wasn't one of the best races, but now he's improving by 3.5 tenths, I believe.
I need to get everything loaded up now. We're still not in the commentating brain right mind.
No worries, same here, I filled that. Only an improvement of little less than 2 tenths, but still stays 4th fastest. That's impressive right there. We got Redfire Tiger on a lap. Redfire Tiger, a lot of the people in RPL have spoke about at one point or another, this being one of the largest downfalls in RPL, with the guy going from getting a podium consistently once a season in an Alpine, and now last season being outperformed by teammates, Korsman and others at McLaren, and then after that, demoted to Tier 2 halfway through the Season 10 season, and now can't really get the job done in Red Bull. Well, he's invalidated, and we'll find out if he does go for another one. We'll go to J&T Gaming, our current pole sitter, going purple in the first sector.
Championship leader.
Championship leader, in fact. The first American driver and the first time an American has led the Tier 2 championship. We'll find out if J&T Gaming can get his first victory tonight at his home race. 7 podiums, the most before a race win of anybody right now, or without a race win, I should say. J&T Gaming leading the championship with 4 straight podiums and without taking a single track limit penalty this season. Not only does he not have a single track limit penalty, but he doesn't have a win either. 3 tenths up on the time. This game cycle thus far, we've had a Red Bull take pole 3 times in the tiers. 2 in, in Tier 2. 1 for Red Bull, 1 for McLaren, 1 for Red Bull in F1, 1 for Red Bull in FE, and now we don't have Ferrari on that a category at all. Excuse me, I am all misjumbled. But J&T Gaming, he's not misjumbled at all. He's going to cross the line to improve 32-1.
Wowza.
He continues to extend pole position. We've got Joe Wilson on a in-lap with whatever's happened to him. Nobody else out on track right now. 4.5 minutes remaining in the session. Mintoki will start a lap here soon. We'll go on board with her. But Where are you going to be looking for track limits with drivers invalidating their lap times tonight, Owen? Where should we end up watching out
the
for?
S section pretty much is the most dangerous place, because you get a wee bit too eager. Especially this place JNT just went through there. The turn. Let me just do some counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blah, 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 I don't know.
9, 8, 9.
Yes.
I think.
Very easy to track extend there.
We got Matoki on a lap. How about you take it away, and I'll let you take over since you won this race last season.
Yes,
no DNFs in that race, by the way.
And sausages down.
All right,
yes,
well,
an excellent little run there through the
go on board.
The S sections are very nice, and utilizing every inch of curb and using every exit curve you can. Now the curbs of this track are pretty flat, so expect to see a lot of drivers pushing each other off track.
Backed off
into the hairpin. Could have used a lot more curb on the end on the entrance on the exit. I believe she's backed off.
Yeah, she must have not liked something on that lap, so she backed off of it. Unfortunate. 7th place for her on the board for Aston Martin. Only Aston to qualify for tonight's event. Wavy Knife has a qualifying ban. OTL has a qualifying ban. Merton and George do. Interestingly enough for George, though, whatever he did, he's not got a lap time on the board, so I guess he's trying to maybe be the highest of the guys without a lap time, from what I'm noticing. Lodjevic did clock in a time earlier on. He's 11th place. Tadpole does not have a time, and he's 17th. Rapid Owen, I believe, got put in the lineups late, so he'd have a qualifying ban too, correct?
Yes, he was supposed to be in the Williams, and obviously the TP got that mixed up. So he's in the Alfa Romeo mode now. So
that would make sense as to why. 15, 16 of you watching in chat. Give us your predictions for tonight's event. We've got JTK's #1 fan in here. We've got Josh in here as well, the Merc Academy co-TP. We've got
the money caused this ruckus.
BRL. Whoever's on that league account. I believe it's Lodjevic. He does own that league, so it makes sense for him to be on that account. Sam Steed used to race here. He's on this Twitch chat for tonight. OTL is in here. Lando Norris, Menico, Invade, all them rooting on whoever they're watching for, or the driver in chat themselves. How about we go on board with Dill, who's on a lap right now, coming through turn 1 now. And this section, you could take a lot of the curbing if you would like to on the outside, but he chooses not to. Turn 2, now turn 3, the S section. Easy to step out of bounds here and get an invalid lap time. Now he comes to the ending bit of Sector 1. Is he finding improvement on the time? Yes, he is. 22 thousandths, but he went too wide and got himself an invalidation. How about you take over here on Invade now, Owen? JNT, to defend that pole position, might not get back out in time, and he'll be having to defend it from the garage.
From his teammate as well, Invade coming through the section. That looks a bit slow. He's down by 10th.
Wow.
Don't know what's happening here. But this
Gotta
is pretty
find the
much
time
it. He
then.
needs to put this
Sector
lap
2.
in, so not sure what he's doing. 57 seconds left. He might have enough time to get across the line again, but his ERS certainly will not be able to do that. He activates the DRS. We're going to have to see the sector split from Sector 2 to 3. And he's currently 1.3 seconds down, so he obviously had a disastrous first lap. So realistically here, he should be over a second up on his lap time if he is wanting to be somewhat competitive, as yes, JNT does retire. He's only 2 tenths up. So did he make the mistake in the last sector, or has he not made up for the mistake? We will find out when he crosses the line.
Lots
Take
of
a nice line through that, a little bit squirrely on the exit, not using as much of the exit curb as you want. He's backed off.
Wow.
Another driver backing off.
Is he going to have enough time to go again, though? I don't think he'll get to the line in time. We got Valkyrie improving on the time. Dill G, did he improve enough to defend 6th place? Not sure. Valkyrie, though, 5th place. That's going to be a decent effort from the McLaren driver. However, Invade is going to cross the line now and will not make the flag, so he'll only be 9th. And he cannot get anywhere close to his teammate. Dom, 76 thousandths up on the time right now. Lodjevic will be the first one to cross a sector split, a 10th up on the time. So this will be at least 1 place. But now, coming through this section here, lots of lines you can take as a driver. How does he choose to go through this section and find the time available to him? He spins!
Oh, no!
Luckily, no damage, but the damage has already been done to his lap time. The Aston behind is Mintoki improving by a 10th. This should set her 1 place higher. If she can find the time in the last sector, though, she's got to do it through turn 19 here. Lots of curbing being ridden from the Aston driver now. Turn 20, easy to lose it. You got to stay on track. Across the line she comes. Couldn't improve. Next up are the Haas guys. Dom, invalidated. Lojovic obviously had to abort and go to the pit lane. Red Fire Tiger, can he go front row? Yes! Red Fire Tiger goes to the front row. And that ties his best qualifying. JTK's down. Joe Wilson coming across the line now. He could be the only one to take that pole position away, but he can't. No improvement. Is anybody else going to say something about that J&T Gaming pole?
And George Williams will be disqualified.
Big crash from Tadpole coming across the line and validating the lap time. That's going to be it. That will be it from everybody in his home race for a second week running. The championship leader with no wins yet, J&T Gaming, is on pole position once again. Wow. Red Fire Tiger, the only Red Bull to qualify tonight, is going to be on the front row. JTK right there in third. Dom, a really impressive qualifying effort to be fourth in the Haas. Once again outperforming that car. And Valkyrie makes it 5 different teams inside that top 5. She'll be up there for McLaren, who had pole in this race last season. We'll go over your qualifying order, but I just want to remind everybody the pit stop loss is 19.5 seconds. ERS gain back 17% in the pit lane. We'll go over strategy in a little bit, but here's your qualifying order. Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, Haas, McLaren, and then the next car that repeats from the same teams inside the top 5 is Joe Wilson's 6th. Still JG, a really decent qualifying effort in his debut, 7th for Alfa Romeo. Mentoki 8th, Invade 9th. Invade a really disappointing qualifying. George, who was supposed to serve that qualifying ban, makes the top 10, but it is Kipu just outside the top 10. Watch for guys outside the top 10, such as Lojovic, P4 last week for Haas. Wavy having a qualifying ban. Tadpole crashed out of the final corner, only 17th. And Martin, with a qualifying ban to serve, ends up 18th. Last of everybody. Oh, and who surprised you most in that qualifying session, and who disappointed most?
Well, I would say Dom, but he doesn't really surprise me anymore, does he? He's just so good. My main surprise is George Williams refusing, as an admin of the league, by the way, refusing the qualifying ban.
Yeah.
And thus, he will be being disqualified from this session, and he will be getting a race ban, unfortunately. And it's a big surprise from the second Ferrari of. Let me just look at the race director, because I forgot his name already. Is it Invade? It is Invade.
Yeah.
Yes, Invade, very disappointing result. I would have expected him to be higher up, and we have a formation lap, by the way. We're going to give it a go, see if it's any, see if it's like really bad or not, and just give it a go.
All right, so that's breaking news to the drivers. If you did not know that, breaking news to me. I completely forgot about that. I remember you mentioning that. I completely forgot. We'll see what happens then as the formation lap is about to get underway. We'll go over the championship standings in more depth for those of you guys who did not join us at the very start of the stream. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you right now who I think is the big disappointment and big surprise of the session. I mean, you said Dom not being a surprise anymore, but I would say Red Fire is a surprise. Yes, you're in a Red Bull. You should be up there. But you know what? Considering what we saw in Silverstone, a change in mojo for the French driver, much needed second place. And the other surprise I would say is still JG. He needed that top 10 qualifying spot after what he has not been able to show not being here last week and being put full time. If you're a part of that Ferrari Academy, you have so many drivers you can put full time, and you choose to put him in who nobody knows about, well, that's exactly what can happen there. Putting him in. And now we're under the way for the formation lap. We'll go over strategy and the championship standings. Disappointment for me. Yeah, Invade. Invade. I'm sorry, Invade. I really would have liked to see you do better, but it's unfortunate that it was not the case in the qualifying session. Only 9th compared to his teammates' pole position. Here are the tire choices. J&T on the mediums, your pole sitter. 2nd through 4th on the hards. Most of the field makes up the medium tire compound. Mentoki going for the softs. That's a little bit of a surprise. However, hards for Rapid Eoin, Wavy, and Tadpole all outside the top 10. With that being said, We've got the strategy for tonight's event likely being a one-stop race, unless there's any safety cars to interfere with it. We'll have the soft to medium probably being the preferred strategy from the guys at Red Bull or Mintoki, with going on the softs here. I say the guys at Red Bull because their tire wear is a lot better than the rest of the field. Don't expect anybody from Ferrari to do that kind of tire choice, soft to medium or medium to soft. Soft hard, medium hard will be the choice if you're not going to go with that. And I already mentioned your pit stop loss and ERS gain back in the pit lane. 19.5 for that pit stop loss. The championship standings, JNT Gaming out front by 12 points over Grandpa. JTK is here, Hunted is not. 15 points the gap between JTK and JNT. Red Bull lead Ferrari by 5 points. McLaren and Mercedes just third and fourth, with a little bit of a long shot here at round 5 to try to take the championship lead, but we could be ending up with a new championship leader in the drivers or the constructors championship tonight, Eoin. And in terms of strategy, what would you want to be doing?
I won't lie to you, I literally cannot remember what the strategy I did when I won around here was.
I think it was soft medium or medium soft. Pretty sure.
Sounds about right. I went for some rogue strategy. And usually it paid off for me. And I respect Mantuki going for the soft tire, so fair play to her. And let's see if it pays off.
In terms of that championship standings, and by the way, if you're remembering formation lap the last time we did it, you want to get your grid slot right here. You've got to get in place. We'll see if anybody doesn't. But in the meantime, championship standings, we could be coming with a season, Eoin, that sees one different team win it.
The start wrong.
One team that sees it win it for the drivers, but not the constructors. We could be seeing that happen too, with what we've seen thus far. Largest pole gap this season, by the way, I believe, with that qualifying session.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's time to kick off the Texas race here in Circuit of the Americas. The lights coming on. And it's time to bring the action here in Texas. Red Fire Tiger looked like he got a better start than JT, and he'll be side by side at turn 1, looking to redeem himself in tier 2. Red Fire Tiger takes the lead of the race already. JT Gaming squeezed, and now down to 4th. The Haas of Dom taking over 2nd and 3rd, side by side of the S's. They try to get it down to single file, but Red Fire Tiger's out in front.
Absolutely superb. Everyone keeping it nice and clean in the midfield as well. Merton's trying to get his way through in that Red Bull at the moment, on OTL at the back, and Invade not gaining any spots, but he's right on the back of Mintoki.
We now have defending for 3rd maybe, or letting his teammate go. Academy teammate swap already between Dom and JNT. A very smart one in there before DRS gets enabled 2 laps from now. And Mythic battling Kipu. Logivic battling Rapid Eoin. Everybody just starting to drain their battery down the straight. And now it's going to be draining your battery here for 8th place. Mintoki trying to defend. Invade trying to grab the place. And they are 4 wide for a moment. That's the Haas of Logivic nearly getting turned around there from contact from, I believe, the Aston of Wavy. Meriton was able to squeeze his way through. He was able to gain some spots. And now George going to go down the inside of Mintoki, banging wheels with her. Invade also battling Academy teammate Dill. And as they go side by side, George and Mintoki, George gets the spot on track. Mintoki has to settle for 10th place on track.
Mintoki's start of the softs has been disastrous. She's lost positions. Let's see how many she's lost. If the game wants to work with me, she's lost 2 positions at the start, which is not what you want to be when you're starting on the quick tire. Comes Invade on the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Nice move.
Invade, yeah, fair play. 2 places gained. The big winner, Meriton, 4 places. The big loser on the start, that has to go to Logivic, down 4 places. OTL also lost 3 places himself as well. We'll go back to the tire changes from the start. And what that does, the hard runners really gained some spots there.
Oh my goodness! Oh, Mythic,
now,
what are you doing?
Mythic and Meriton almost had a collision there. I'm sorry to miss that, folks, but now Meriton trying to get unghosted. He's unghosted behind Wavy. I was just going to say, while that was happening... Oh, hold on. Meriton diving down the inside. Late lunge. Wheel to wheel with Wavy. Pinching him onto the curb. And Wavy is forced out wide.
From what I saw from that Meriton Mythic incident, it was just horrible from Mythic. He just completely turned in, even though Meriton was already ahead on the inside. So Not sure what he was thinking there, but the Red Bull's now through on the Aston Martin as well.
I was just going to say, with that start, JNT Gaming got boxed in right there because of Red Fire Tiger squeezing him onto the curb. Red Fire Tiger a little bit more easy in comparison to how he went at JNT, in comparison to how Merton, his teammate, went at Wavy right there. Martin squeezed Wavy out, whereas Red Fire Tiger squeezed JNT to the curb. And JNT Gaming tried to come back on to defend second place, and he almost got spun around, and he was lucky it was not any damage to him or his race. He only fell down to fourth, and then his teammate, Academy teammate, Dom, let him through with the help of that to get third place back. So, fair play to JNT, not losing out
issue
more.
for George there. He locks up the rears as Mintoki's not going to go around the outside of turn 2. Oh!
Can she hold it? No, not going to go for in the S section. Would be a very, very risky move, but she is losing time from the Academy teammate. And OTL is the first one in the penalty box. Side by side here. X on the S section. George has to give space. He does, but Mintoki now trying to get past. Can't do so. Kipu is caught up from this as well.
Racing.
Just remember, DRS has been able this time, so we'll have guys opening the rear wing for extra speed down this back straight. We'll find out who utilizes that the most, but now Mintoki will have a chance to utilize that. George defending, George pushing, and now Mintoki on the inside line will have the advantage as she battles side by side, pushes George out, and George comes back on side by side. Does he go for in the braking zone? Yes, he does, and she gets shoved off. Kipu goes through.
Oh.
Mintoki keeps the place now after George came back on and lost it after he veered right. But in the meantime, Rapid Eoin invited to the party. Merton invited to the party. It's now about a 5-car race for this place.
This is going to start cooking up a little bit there.
Tadpole with a penalty. He's the second one to be invited to the penalty club, and now Merton is ducking out on Rapid Eoin. Going to go 3 wide for just a second, I think, if George was going to be invited there. But collision for a second. It was George getting shoved out, Merton shoving his way through, and Merton's up to 11th. Now Rapid Eoin wants a taste of this too. Everybody not playing nice with George tonight. I wonder why.
A bit dirty from the Red Bull, but he's through. He might have to reap a penalty for that one if someone submits it in. But we move on.
Mintoki is trying to do a little up and under on Kipu. I could just see her trying to muscle past Kipu. Now looking on the inside, can't get through. We got DRS for 4th place. Joe Wilson on Dom. In front of that, JNT Gaming, the championship leader, battling the only guy that's racing besides him in the top 4 in the championship. He's through on JTK. Joe Wilson, his teammate, through on Dom. Invade ahead of Valkyrie come the corner, and now Mintoki side by side come the corner, and Kipu has to back off. Merton invited to the party. Merton is going to be a part of the equation while they battle it out side by side. Kipu with the right side, Mintoki with the left side. Do they swap it? Merton swaps it. Lunge, late lunge, and now he's gonna shove his way through. He'll get 2 and 1 here come turn 16.
That was a phenomenal overtake. What have I just seen?
Wow. He had balls of steel to send it right there in maybe a place that can be tricky at times, but the space was available to him. Now for the lead. The gap is 2/10, and Red Fire Tiger is leading his first laps on this game cycle in RPL.
He's been caught by JNT, the pole sitter. And
I mean, I could be wrong. Unless he led in Haas, McLaren, or Alpine. He's not led in a while. But now, Mythic battling Tadpole for 15th outside the points. This train with that battling from Merton and all them closed everybody up, and it's now a battle 9th to about last place. How crazy is that?
This is absolutely scintillating stuff. Merton's got a big gap though to catch ahead of him, and he's not really pulling away from Mintoki. Mintoki's gonna go for the move.
Oh, hold on, let's switch to that. 9th place. Oh, contact. Punting the back of Merton is Mintoki, and now for our race lead, does JNT Gaming go for in the braking zone? No, a little bit more patience will happen this time. Dual JG gets Valkyrie, and in the background, you were right about Mintoki and Merton. I'll get to that this time. Here we go for some moves.
And there is no one moved.
No one. No one's going to do it. I thought
It's a
someone was going to try it.
procession from 9th to 17th, but no one went for an overtake there.
I'm very surprised. Everyone in that train was so closed up from all that battling the lap prior, and no one went for a move. However, I will say, with DRS being a part of this top 5 now, Joe Wilson will help out the Mercedes team in the Constructors' Championship, with Ferrari not having both cars in this train, Red Bull not having both cars in this train, and them only being about 13, 14 points back from their competitors, Red Bull and Ferrari, here at the top of the field. Dom also invited in this as well. That's good points for Haas for tonight's event if they maintain the spot. Lots of good things to look forward to on this grid with the guys we have in contention.
I'm just surprised Merton's not able to pull away yet. That Red Bull. She lost time. As Logovic is lagged in the session. I'll try to get it back in.
Alrighty, well, I did not see that. I was a little blind. I was just looking at the Discord server. Well, let's see what happens.
Party
Mentoki.
by accident. Whoops.
Alright. Mentoki picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits, and I think JTK wants to get the move done on JNT, ducking out, maybe just trying to find the braking line. In the background, Mythic gets Tadpole, and we have Dill JG and Valkyrie swapping spots in the straight once again. In the background, Martin finally being overtaken by Mentoki. Mentoki through into 9th, but she's got the penalty at the expense of that, so we'll watch out for that. In the meantime, no other overtakes made on the back straight.
Just lagging out is going to cost him dearly here. He's being caught in Tapple and Mythic having a scintillating battle.
Wheel banging between the two. Mythic on the inside, Tadpole the long way around, gonna use the curbs to his advantage. Now having the inside line here for the triple right, Tadpole through for 15th place. Does have the penalty though. Crashing on qualifying did not help his case, starting at the back of the field, but he's the only previous Tier 2 champion in tonight's event. The top 4 though, still within DRS range. Dom fell out of it.
I think the top 4 just holding station right now, trying to conserve the tyres in the RS. Obviously, the drivers with the tyre advantage for the strategy, I'd say, is JTK and Redfire Tiger, because then they can go in the quicker compound later on in the race. But they may get undercut in the process, but the undercuts, yes, it is powerful, but fresher tyres are even more powerful, as was demonstrated when I won around here, and I had the fresh tyres compared to, I believe it was the Ferrari of, what's his name now? Oh my god, I forgot. Doesn't matter. But yes, the fresh tyres are a lot quicker.
Yeah, they are.
Utilize them accordingly.
I mean, you used to be able to do a 2-stop around the circuit a lot in previous games, but now it's died down to a 1-stop with the way it is. Want to know an interesting stat about Redfire Tiger as he leads this race? His last podium in the lower tier of RPL is back in F1.5, and now Wavy, trying to go around the outside of George, gets shoved onto the curb, so he'll try the other way here, come the next corner, and he still can't get past, but these two really going at it.
Well, we were trying to go around the side, maybe going to try and switch it back, but not enough grip in those hard tyres to pull that off. We're defending hard.
Yeah, Redfire Tiger's podium overall, his last podium, oh, yellow flag, that's Lodgevic, he's crashed.
Is out.
And that's a safety car. That is exactly in the same section he binned it in qualifying, and for the second time of his 3 appearances, he will not see the flag here in RPL. Now, is the safety car allowing everyone to pass? Yes, it is. Okay, just making sure in comparison to Brazil the last time when the safety car was a hazard. 10th on back, though. They are all going to come in for pit stops. Free pit stop for everybody here under the safety car. So that pit stop loss that you had in mind, 19.5 seconds. ERS gain back about 20%. That's all out the window now. Kipu onto the softs.
Over another stop later on the rest, and clearly.
Alright.
Most other drivers on mediums or hards. TL also on the softs. Everyone that pitted on mediums or softs apart from Mythic. You went on the hards.
OTL to softs, though. Interesting. Try something else if you're that far back and maybe not in the pace of others. I like that. I do like that strategy call. But
just for mediums, as is Merton as well.
Yeah,
Interesting.
be very interesting.
I
One
just
other
mentioned
thing to
dropped
note.
to P15. What?
Yeah,
You have
don't
damage.
know
Let me
about
check.
that one. Maybe. I mean, he did have a
He
lot
has
of
something
contact in
damage.
his opening laps. Yeah, yeah, that would make sense.
Maybe that's why it was a wee bit slow.
Maybe. But now with the safety car, you have a chance to redeem yourself, as we were mentioning. And with that said about Lojovic there with the DNF, his other DNF in RPL came in France's first race. That was in the pit lane though. He had damage that he could no longer continue with. Tonight was into the wall. And Redfire Tiger, JNT, JTK all come in the pit lane. You gotta make sure you get within those white lines. It can be tricky sometimes here to do if you're having a late minute decision, but it looks like everybody does so, and they'll be clean of having anything submitted on them. And double stack from the Mercedes, double stack from the Ferrari, that will affect them massively.
Yeah, so I think Valkyrie and Dilgy, no, just Valkyrie are going to get the position on invade here.
If you're Valkyrie, you got to be happy having only one car in this race of the two available, because you don't have a double stack at all to affect you. Obviously, you would like your teammate to back you up, but that doesn't help. So Joe Wilson affected by that double stack. Invade really not so much, but Joe Wilson lost a place to Dom. You got guys going on mediums or hards here now. Only two guys in softs.
Penalty under the safety car, and that is absolutely heroic, and I respect him for that.
Mythic going back to the pit lane may have had something happen, but he's going to the medium tires now. He got P5 last week after the penalties in the event in Monza.
Mythic is cooking there, so he starts on the mediums, goes to the hards to get his mandatory tire out of the way, and just chucks it back on the medium, so he can go to the end of the race now on these medium tires. Which is interesting. I don't know if he'll make it to the end of the race on these mediums. It's quite a long way to go, almost 19 laps to go.
I mean,
interesting choice.
You could tell me what you remember from this race last season, but no DNFs from this event I remember. I think there was a few VSCs, no safety car at all. There were a few guys who broke their front wing, Blue Goggy being the most notable one, which caused a VSC. And now we have in this event this season a DNF to start off and a safety car, which we did not see last season. It's also Haas's first DNF of the season in Tier 2.
It's sad. After the mighty heights logo, which was in last week, to the lowest of lows this week, unfortunately. He is out of the Grand Prix.
Redfire Tiger as well I want to mention something about, because this comeback could be really, really good for him. He should be obviously leading at a Red Bull, but he didn't do so in Silverstone. He was very, very poor in terms of his choices, staying out with front wing damage for way too long, then making a mistake under the safety car with pitting to the wrong tires, which cost him very, very dearly in the sense of trying to get more points. He only was in a low points position come the end of the race in comparison to Grandpa at the start of the season, who won for Red Bull in Silverstone. Now Redfire Tiger getting a chance to redeem himself. We've seen some very bright performances from Redfire Tiger in the past, Owen, but it's not come in a very long while, and I think this is going to be the day that he has a chance to do so, but he's got to keep himself composed.
He's been being pretty heavily criticised this last few months, and rightfully so, to be fair. He was in the McLaren Tier 1, he was doing okay, but
didn't outperform by
he
teammates
wasn't living
too
up
much
to the expectations. And then he got moved down to, I think, AlphaTauri, and I think he just underperformed, underwhelming. And then he found refuge in Tier 2, and didn't really, people were expecting, okay, this guy's Tier 1 driver, he's come down Tier 2, surely he'll start cooking up something there. Didn't really work out for him either. And then he got a few chances in the Red Bull, didn't make the most of it in Silverstone the season over, but now he's done a good job.
Well, I was going to say, if you remember the beginning of Season 10, he was putting that Haas alongside Minico full time, and he never executed the way he should have. He didn't get a single points position at all. And it was expected for Redfire Tiger in a race like Australia, where there was tons of chaos, Saudi, where we had tons of DNFs, even Baku, when he was fourth late in the race, had a chance for points. He slammed into the back of Cookie, got himself damage, and you know, by staying out. He had a chance to be in the points, but he never was. So, and then that's when he went to Tier 2 after that whole change, you know, and he was part-time before coming this season, Eoin, and you might remember it from the championship season years, seeing him in the Aston for a few races. He was very fast at times, but he never got the result. He got himself in incidents with Beatnik. He got himself in the penalty box, and he just could not produce the results. So we've seen the pace there from Red Fire Tiger, but now leading the safety car restart, about to come in. This is his chance to shine.
We better make the most of it. Everyone's watching him.
18 viewers. In fact, some rooting on J&T in the chat, such as Stamsteed, Lando, others. Some were rooting on Lojovic. Couldn't put it all together today. But someone who can is our race leader, who's back on the gas now. Pedal to the metal. Red Fire Tiger leads this race over J&T. And now we're back to green flag racing. And we got a spin at the back.
And Tadpole of an incident.
That is not good. That's the two guys there who really did not have the good qualifying. That did not help their case. Valkyrie also has 5th place on the cards with Joe Wilson now. Valkyrie could not get the place there. Kipu got Mintoki, and now side by side with Wavy and Merton. Merton around the outside could not get the move done, so he tries the outside line here, Come the Essence, and cannot get through.
He's defending from Wavy. Oh, Merton tried to go for the move. He tried to do a mythic, but he wasn't far enough alongside this time. Thank the Lord he backed out in that one, but he's going for it now.
There we go. Wheel to wheel before turn 11. The Alpine of Kipu up in front of that down the inside. Merton gets through on Wavy, but does Wavy do the cutback? Merton slides, allowing Wavy to have the chance to do so, and now 2nd place. JTK takes it. JNT wanted it, but couldn't keep it. Now, Valkyrie also with Invade. This is cracking racing down the straight. Invade is through.
Nice job. My eyes are glued to this battle in the midfield section because how close everyone is together.
I keep missing it. Oh, no! He almost sent it into the side of George, diving down the inside, Merton did, but luckily kept his car in a straight direction. I don't know how.
He's just having a look. You know, he's just trying to make these midfield runners, you know, terrified but scared.
That's too funny. That's great. Fastest lap from Red Fire Tiger leading this race. His teammate, though, is trying to navigate his way through traffic, using the battery, trying to get through on George now. And can we see him move up in the hill? It's the outside line. Give us a good camera angle, please. Thank you. Around the outside. He's going to try it now. Side by side. George is squeezing him, pinching him, and Merton wants the space. He's shoving his way to the space, and he bangs George off. And George comes back on almost into the side of Wavy as a Academy principal there.
An interesting battle there. That will be one that will also be certainly reviewed.
That's RG Bargy at its finest. You want to define RG Bargy and use an example with it? Well, there's your example. The example also being used of can JTK take down Red Fire Tiger is going to be used now with the race lead at stake. 6/10 the gap. No DRS just yet.
Both men need to make these medium tires last the end of the race, though, so JNT could be in the long game here.
OTL, by the way, apologizing to Tadpole right there for that incident that happened under the safety car. I was going to mention that Rapid Eoin also said to Martin, enjoy your penalty, because they were trading spots under the safety car. So Martin really at stake for a lot of things here. First, the qualifying ban and qualifying session that he did not serve, and then he did finally reverse it to where he wouldn't be penalized. He got himself disqualified, and then after that, the argy-barginess in the race that is very on the limit for sure, and the safety car incident with Rapid. Oh, and now he'll try to get the points position away from Mintoki here, or 10th place as DRS is finally online. Not yet for turn 1.
Nothing in the RS.
And late lunge, making her think. Did make her think for a second, but she's not going to give it up too easily. 10th place is still hers. Invade as well, who does have the penalty for 6th place, is hanging on, keeping Valkyrie at bay, but can he keep Valkyrie at bay much longer with the DRS going to be applied here in just a moment time? Wavy Knife, Rapid Eoin. There are 2 drivers there in the S section that pick up penalties. Now Merton does too.
Yeah, I told you that area is the worst on this track for penalties, man. It's absolutely horrific.
DRS between the top two. It's JTK trying to make the charge. Can't do it. Dom can't make the charge in JNT, so we look back toward 6th place now. Here's Merton. Gonna make the move. Wheel to wheel here. Diving it up the inside. And Martin edging past.
Just edging.
Yes.
Really is right up the buttocks of George as well, as Merton goes in on the Alfa Romeo and he gets him too.
Wow. That was a terrible camera angle, but a really sensational overtake. What a move.
Didn't even see it.
I
think he just teleported in front of him.
I got caught out by that terrible camera angle that's been given to us from trying to get to his onboard. And he went blasting right down the inside. That's how crazy it was. OTL is now a lap down after going into the pit lane once again. And Martin and Dilgy JG is not done with this battle. Contact! He's been spun around and he's now facing the wrong way. And he's retired on track.
He's not happy chappy, is he? But chaos is ensuing in his scrap for the P9.
Oh my word.
Is he going to leave the lead again?
I would hope not. He really had some amazing overtakes today. He really did well. And Red Bull with yet another retirement, so they're going to be relying on Redfire Tiger to make the points happen. We've got Wavy and Mintoki, 2 Aston Martins in this battle. Their other Academy car, George, is also in the fight too. We've got 3rd place up for grabs. No move made there, but a move made for 6. Valkyrie through, Mintoki now through for 9th. And it's still not done with the weaving and bobbing on the straight. How about around the outside? It's Wavy Knife gonna mix it up. George shoving him to the curb, giving him the space this time. And now Wavy up the inside, squeezing him down to the curb. This is RG barging right on the limits. Does George go on the inside and dive it up? Yes, he does. Side by side now in the exit of the corner. George gonna use all the pinching he can with shoving him to the curb. Now this allows Wavy to use all that curbing on the inside. Kipu picks up a penalty. And side by side to turn 19. Oh no! Oh no! They're both off. Somehow, none of them were facing the wrong way. I don't know how. I really don't know how.
George seemed to have a fetish there for hitting.
And again! Collision! Wavy's now finally around from the contact. It took a while, but he's really been affected by that. And Mythic got both of them, so Mythic up to 12th.
What absolute buffoons, man.
I don't know what happened with Hunted, but he's missed tonight's event. He scored points in all the previous rounds this season, but he has joined us in the Twitch chat. He said, "Sup, boys, coming to you from a nice hospital bed. I hope you better, Hunted." Your teammate, Valkyrie,
massive ball syndrome,
is being overtaken. Invade is through, up in a 6th, and that's much needed, especially with that track limit penalty that he has. George threw in Mythic, the teammate. Does Mythic try to go back past? Yes, he does. And Tadpole, excuse me, gonna have a look here for 14th place around the outside, the long way around. Now George giving Tadpole the space, and Tadpole, will he have a look up the outside? He'll have to look the long way around this time. Can't do it.
Right behind Tadpole.
Valkyrie also got really close to invade there in the final bits of the Sector 3 and couldn't do it. We'll have DRS online for Valkyrie to try once again with. And now the lead, 4/10 the gap. We're past halfway, so Redfire Tiger has to get those mediums to the end.
Let's see what happens here in this fight for P13.
It really did turn into a demo derby from the Merc Academy. I can't lie to you guys in chat. Oh, he does! He does!
What a move!
Late on the brakes and through! We're seeing
right behind George.
Some very sensational overtakes now, and Wavy will be flirting with George once again. These Merc
I'm
Academy
scared.
cars, they cannot keep themselves away from trouble today. You had George who had trouble earlier on. Wavy had a qualifying ban due to penalty points. And now these Merc Academy cars just want to fight each other to the last limit. And now again, does Wavy have a look? No. And up in front of that,
Maybe Wavy is calm down.
Valkyrie's got Invade. Well, George is very on the limit. I'll tell you that. He knows what's coming his way, and he does not care, so he wants to have some fun in the meantime. And he's got his teammate up for company. Here he goes, around the outside on his teammate. Can he get it the long way around? Mythic is giving him the space
That's
to
probably
not be
respect
squeezed.
for Mythic there.
George has the inside line now for the next corner. Can he get this move done? He's going to go the long way around still. Wavy there in the background for company. George using the curbing.
That was a
To his
sick
advantage.
thing.
He's through. Wavy through too.
Wavy.
Mythic off the track, and Mythic got a penalty, and now Wavy is going to try the 2-in-1 here. Contact! Wavy back down, another place, and Mythic and Tadpole are now having a little bit of fun here for 14th place and 13th place. Tadpole gets the spot, Wavy wants the spot again, and he's gonna go for 2-in-1 again. Down the inside.
Oh,
Didn't work out the last time, so maybe try to make it out this time to work. Can't do it.
I just applaud these gentlemen in giving us an entertaining race here.
Minico talking about moving away from the Merc Academy this week to the McLaren Academy. Well, really, it's the Alpine Academy. But maybe you made the right choice, Minico, with what's happened here. But now, the other Merc Academy car that's
Here
not
goes
messing around this
JTK.
time is going to take the lead of the race. JTK gets Red Fire Tiger for the top spot. We have a new race leader. Invade also is getting Valkyrie for the place. Cutting in front come the braking zone to make sure he stays in front of the Brazilian female driver. And now, once again, these guys, this is where the trouble is that you guys are talking about in the Twitch chat. Tadpole through. George trying to defend.
Oh, Wavy
now
got
defending
around
the
the
Academy car.
outside.
Wavy still in the mix. And Wavy getting shoved out wide. But Mythic is trying to get the both of them once again. George defending Wavy. And Wavy tags him. And Wavy through the middle. Which way is he looking to go on these two Williams cars that are his cars, as he is the team principal? And Red Fire Tiger could not get to JTK come the braking zone, so JTK has saved his battery beautifully and maintains this race lead, almost having double the battery of Red Fire Tiger. And now Valkyrie on the up and under on Invade. Could he get it done? Invade with the defending? Yes. Valkyrie, she couldn't get the move done, but we go back to 14th place here. And George
it's very late
defending
from George.
again. This has gotten ridiculous.
George will be amassing so amount of penalties this race.
Sam Steed brings up a good point. If any of you have watched the NASCAR race when Texas Coda had their first dry race here in 2021, or 2022, excuse me.
Oh no, what's happened?
JTK, I think, let him go, did he? Red Fire Tiger takes the lead of the race. Sam Steed brought up a good point. Bowman, Chastain, Allmendinger, 3 drivers fighting for the race victory very aggressively. That's what 14th place looks like. Red Fire Tiger takes back the lead of the race. Valkyrie takes back 6th, and Wavy claims back 14th place as well. And Invade and Valkyrie are still not done. There's 2-3 battles here to look forward to, and 3 different trains. Invade on the inside line now. Invade is finally getting through, but Valkyrie is still not done, holding her ground, having the inside line for the next corner. She's gonna squeeze, and she's through. George is still not done. George is still not done with his antics. It allows teammate Mythic to go through, but Wavy almost hit George right there.
I just can't believe what I'm viewing right now from George. This is heroic.
I don't know, whatever happened with Red Fire Tiger and JTK may have just happened again in opposite order come turn 1, because JTK was able to close up after it being a 6/10 gap at that braking zone, and now JTK all over the back of Red Fire Tiger.
And Norris Lando is currently becoming rich
Yeah.
due to these contacts being made.
1 tier 2 podium for Lando Norris there. He's joined back the league, in fact. Good to see him back. Well, we'll find out if his mate JNT can claim a 5th straight podium. But right now, JTK is trying to claim back the race lead, and he'll gain it back at the braking zone. Just a lot of swapping between him and Red Fire Tiger. Now Joe Wilson is making a move on Dom. That we didn't expect a little bit later ago. And now Invade, Valkyrie. It's now a 3-car race with Kippu in the fight.
Kippu, what's he doing? He's on softs.
He is on softs, and he's got a penalty too, trying to get one of his best results of the season. He's had a poor start to the season, trying to make it a better one. And now we've got a record amount of viewership in this Twitch chat. 25 viewers I saw at one point. That's the most we've had this game cycle on an RPL Twitch stream. But right now they're watching both Williams still messing about, and Wavy is still not done with George. He's not had any happiness with George at all this race with the fighting, and now Mythic gonna go for it. He's gonna join the fun, almost tagging his left rear tire, and Wavy still remains ahead. With the race lead though, 5/10, you gotta ask yourself, can they get the mediums to the end, or will JNT start to close up like he has by 5/10?
Yeah, JNT's definitely gonna start closing back in on these leaders, and he's gonna start fighting for this win again. This is gonna be a 3-man fight for the win. Well, I hope so anyway. I hope JNT's hearts fire up, but he is in the Ferrari mind, one of the worst tyre wear cars in the game. And I'm wondering if Kippu is still competitive in this race when he's on 11 lap 1 soft since the safety car restart. So fair play to him for being in P8.
It's really impressive, I must say. It really is. And this battle for 6th place is still not going away. Invade, although he has the penalty, and he didn't have the best of qualifying, he's still not giving up. And Red Fire Tiger is closing into the lead, but he's not close enough to make the move. And JNT, by the way, that straight, lost 2/10 not having DRS, but you could just see, with the tire difference, he gains that back up come the braking zone.
Yeah, the mediums are going to start really dying off very surely. In comparison to the hards, at least 11 laps into their stint, it's not looking good for the front runners if JNT's tires are still operable.
Wavy has no ERS online, but he's still not going to give it up. With George around the outside, the door gets shut. George is back out in front for that 12th place spot.
Not rain.
But is it?
There's rain on the radar. I remember OTL mentioning there is potential rain on the radar halfway in the race, so it could start raining here soon.
Well, interesting. It is getting cloudier. It is raining outside my window. I'm not in Texas, but I am in New York. Either way, Valk gets Invade, and now Wavy is still not going to give this up. Right in the back. Valkyrie, though, is trying to still not give this fight up at the S as Invade keeps her at bay, while Wavy is just pushing George along here this last sector. Yeah, get your nickel count up. We're going to have another one. Wavy, at turn 1, does the dummy, and now goes the long way around. George going to shove him out to the gravel almost. And Wavy comes back on side by side with Mythic.
Quarters.
And now side by side at the S's. Mythic through.
My goodness.
Mythic ahead for 13th. This battling has seen some really nice moves, but it's also seen some very dirty ones. That was one of the ones that definitely wasn't dirty. Valkyrie through for 6th place on Invade once again, and Kippu has fallen out of this train. He's now fallen to Mentoki's hands for 8th place. They both have penalties, so this could promote Dill JG up a spot if they continue to battle. Up 2 spots, in fact.
If rain does occur, what will the runners do?
Yes, I agree.
Mythic now.
I think there's a good chance of it happening. Here goes Mythic and George once again. A little up and under here. Can Mythic intercept this place once again? Now you got Wavy just pushing him along saying, go do it. Go do it. Mintoki swaps with Kippu. This is a little battle. Kippu to the pit lane. Obviously couldn't make the end on the softs. I was going to say, it is punctured territory for him. That is exactly when he should be pitting.
Maybe that is why we saw a lot of drivers opting for the same tire compound on the soft tires, because they knew it was going to start raining.
You got a point, and even with these new fresher tires from Tadpole, he's caught up to this train.
Oh my goodness.
Is he going to go for 2 and 1 here? Is he going to go 3 wide?
Oh, no.
You bet he is. Late lunge down the inside, and he almost tagged George, but they're 3 wide on corner exit. Tadpole slides, And he can still remain side by side with Wavy. Come the X section, they're side by side, but Tadpole gets 2 and 1. He's through.
Oh, this is going to be easy. George is letting him through. George knows there's literally no point fighting him there. And
Yeah.
I think George is just trying to shithouse Wavy at this point.
Oh,
Yeah,
he backed him up and
disgusting.
almost a collision. Oh, my word.
He braked at a corner you don't brake at, so that was interesting.
Oh, man.
George is not having a good day here.
I think they're trying to
Keep it to the head.
earn Leonora some money in chat here. This is illegal gambling. Wavy Knife is still not done, and the rain is hit. The rain is starting to hit.
There we are.
And Wavy did the dummy. He made George think, and he
That's
gone
sensational.
through, but George is not done. Late. He shoves him wide onto the curb. Lucky he didn't go out there, but Wavy's not done either. He's just pushing him along now.
The rain is coming out heavy.
Oh my god.
Let's
Go to our race lead. How does this affect Red Fire Tiger and JTK? 14 laps on those mediums. I'm looking at the strategy coming into this event. You know, the mediums are supposed to wear 4%. If that's the case, then realistically, their tires are towards 60% right now, JTK and Red Fire. They're both using the battery, and they know this might be the last few laps that you can use DRS.
Oh, sensational from Wavy Knife.
Oh my word. Back to the race lead. Red Fire Tiger couldn't close up in time. Now they're side by side at the S's. Oh my word. Don't give me a heart attack. I love how these guys.
If London Horse is right, if this was British Touring cars, this would be an absolutely sensational battle. But because we are in
I know.
open wheel Formula cars, this is rather dangerous. But
It really is.
I'm enjoying it. Nothing too heinous. Just rather argy-bargy.
Let's shove you to the curb and let's make you eat shit. That's basically what they're trying to say. Joe Wilson with a 3-second time penalty. That rain is starting to come down. Will it be enough for inners? We'll find out if this is enough to make an overtake for 13th place with Wavy going the long way around. Invade picks up yet another penalty, and he made George lock up, and Wavy goes through. But George, egregious, with yet another send. And now he's in the penalty box, and they squawk it around. Valkyrie through at turn 1. Invade trying the up and under. Can't do it. Valkyrie through. And yet another penalty for Wavy. I hope you guys know in the Twitch chat, George came into this event with a qualifying ban due to the rule saying if your team principal does not put you on the lineup before the event, or whoever does the lineups, which was Josh, the co-TP, Wavy's the team principal, which is why this fighting is probably so hard. George knows he's going to be penalized heavy after with not serving the qualifying ban. So at this point, he's going to be getting a race ban, but he's just adding on to it with these antics. So that's why you are seeing this happen right now. And OTL is the first one to elect the intermediate tires. Invade has overtaken Valkyrie. Yeah, this is looking a little bit more wetter, if that's even a word.
It's just, yeah, well, the motor's not coming down as quick as I thought it was going to be, and the track isn't wet enough yet for the intermediate tires.
And this is the tricky thing. You have to choose if you're one of the top 3 drivers. JNT closed the gap down to 2 seconds. Red Fire Tiger is almost at a DRS. Oh, and you got to choose here track position or a gamble with going faster on those tires.
No, I that's probably what we see from the leaders. 4 laps to go. As George goes off the circuit, you probably just stay out and firm at this point.
Valkyrie slid, and George is once again sending it. I say we take our eyes off this unless there's a genuine cause of safety car.
I will keep my eyes on it. Okay.
Good idea, because there could be a safety car late in this race still. We still have one more lap that a safety car is available for. Red Fire Tiger is using battery to remain in DRS, but JTK is managing that battery beautifully and keeping him out of DRS for just a split second, I think, but Red Fire Tiger got it and has it. And JNT has really closed this gap with these guys, just shedding it down on the medium tires there right in front of it. 1.4 that gap is between him and Redfire. The gap previously, about 3.4. George is in.
And thank God this man is now away from everyone else's car.
Yeah. And Kipu with Rapid Eoin is now side by side. That was, I believe, Valkyrie losing the rear end there right in front of them out of turn 11 right there. So this track is continuing to get more wet. However, is the intermediate tires doing its job? Redfire Tiger is out of DRS, but Kipu is holding on over Rapid Eoin. DRS still online. That track is starting to get more wet with the battling continuing.
I'm going to monitor the time between OTL and the leaders and George and the leaders.
It looks like it's very close with that crossover. It looks like it's close, but not yet.
They're very similar. So pitting for the Inters, probably not the way to go. I think this race is now, unfortunately, it's going to end in a JTK victory unless Redfire Tiger can hone in those mediums again. But JNT's coming for him for that second place.
Yeah, he is. And Invade, I just clicked onto his stream for a split second. He's checking the weather report on whether or not it is enough for intermediate tires. If it does become wet enough, these guys are going to be trundling around for the last 2 laps. Next time by, no more chances for a safety car, luckily, but Redfire Tiger out of DRS. JNT has DRS on him, and he'll try to claim yet another podium without a race victory. He's had 7 prior. The one who had the record before anybody else being named JNT was Mally, 6 podiums. Before that, RPL Zakaria, 5 podiums in Tier 2 without a win. Those are your top 3 in terms of podiums without a victory. But now Redfire Tiger is being pressurized. JNT's going for it. He's giving him the squeeze. And now JNT Gaming is through into second place. But is it too little too late at his home race to try to pull off a victory?
He's just got the 1.4 seconds. He is... Well, you'd think he's on the better tire for this stage of the Grand Prix. 2 laps to go after this one.
Valkyrie
only a 1.3 gap. DRS is still activated. He can do this if he gets a shift here. Gets a shift on.
OTL
has lagged out of the session.
So our gap will now be looking at George and Wavy. The track is starting to get more wet, but not enough for intermediate tires in order to make a big gamble and gain a lot of time. But JNT Gaming is closing, and he's now got DRS on JTK. Can he pull off a miraculous late race victory, JNT Gaming? He's had 7 podiums prior, and he's looking for a first victory, the Tier 2 championship leader. The closest one to him in the championship is JTK, and we got a big crash that's invaded Valkyrie around.
Oh.
In the wall, and Mintoki took advantage of both of them from it. So she can have a good chance, voice crack, to extend that gap with that penalty.
She's going to need to. Kepu's done a good job to pull away from Rapid Eoin. So on his fresh soft tires for Kepu.
You could see it.
She had a pretty decent race to be fair to him.
If you ride on board with JNT, sorry to cut in. I was just going to say, if you ride on board with JNT, you can start to see what the medium tires are doing to JTK. The only difference with JTK and JNT with the advantage is the battery.
Yes. He's got more than double JNT's battery. So JNT needs to utilize his battery in a strategic position. He's unaware that he's got less battery, but he's going to need to use his battery at a point where JTK wouldn't even think that JNT would be using his battery to go for an audacious and unorthodox maneuver. Otherwise, she's going to have to hope and pray the DRS is powerful enough.
Oh, Valk, almost a dangerous cut
for this
off
main
on
straight.
Invade. Wow. Go ahead, sorry.
Only a 4/10 gap. If JNT can get a nice exit out of this final section, you could get the overtake done to the T1. Or is he going to save it for the second straight? I think he's going to save it.
Might seem like the smarter choice. He's allowing JTK to burn these tires down, and JTK is right on this span of where these tires go into a cliff or puncture territory.
Oh no, Valkyrie!
Valkyrie is around.
I was going to comment on how she's doing a pretty decent race, to be fair, and, well, not anymore.
Keep in mind, Redfire Tiger also looking for a first podium since the ending of F122 back in Brazil, Tier 1, the penultimate race there. But JNT Gaming, though, how much has he worked for this? Well, he was in and out of RPL. Season 5 was when he took those podiums in pole position. He's got friends like Lando and Sam Steed, and he's got others that watch him race, whether it becomes other leagues or this one. Joe Wilson's through on red fire, but they're harsh on him for a reason. You got all of them probably rooting him on now for a first victory, and he has a chance to take it. Can he do it? He's got the momentum. Can he go late in the brakes? No, not close enough. But he still has a chance here with a few more corners. Red Fire Tiger also has the net podium based on penalties, but JNT Gaming, I think he just slipped and went a little wide. You've got to hope that JTK's tires continue to fall off here in the last sector, because if they do, it can still be JNT Gaming's victory if a puncture comes across, but I think this is it. JTK has worked beautifully to win again. He already won once this season with Mercedes, but he'll get yet another victory. Texas is JTK's victory. JNT comes home second with yet another podium before victory. Red Fire Tiger crosses the line to get back onto the podium. Well done, Red Fire Tiger, with the return to the podium in RPL. JNT Gaming, though, comes up just shy again. An 8th podium for him. Matoki 6th, Dom 5th, Invade 7th, but what does the penalties do? Still JG is ahead of Invade. Valkyrie, can she get Kippu? We'll see. Kippu crosses, Valkyrie gets it. JTK picks up his 10th podium, but more importantly, his 4th race victory. He's making himself a contender for that championship. Tadpole 11th, Rapid Eoin is going to come 12th. But everybody else behind that all have penalties here. And the track, you can see it's already too wet now. These are where the intermediate tires would have had an advantage. So if that safety car was out a little longer, maybe the Inters would have been the choice. Maybe, just maybe.
Yeah, Red Fire Tiger fell off massively there in the end of the race.
He really did.
So his
He
tires
really
he obviously worked the tires too much. But he still gets his podium. I think he'll take that.
At his home race, JNT Gaming is on the podium. Congrats to him. Congrats to Red Fire Tiger getting back on the podium. And more importantly, JTK picking up another Mercedes victory in Texas. 2 in a row for them. It's their 25th Tier 2 victory, Mercedes. Congrats to them. George Alp Williams will be the last one across the line, but I'm sure by the end of this race, he'll be the one disqualified of anybody. With that said, Joe Wilson left early.
Wilson leaving early. It should be fine once I put in all the timing gaps into the database. So hopefully it'll be okay.
With that said, between JNT and JTK, the championship lead is now down to 8 points. JNT still hangs on to it, but 5 consecutive podiums. Still another race without a track limit penalty from JNT. You had his friends in the chat. Lando, Faded, Sam Steed, all those guys rooting him on. Or at least watching to see if he can get his first victory. I guess it will have to be yet another week of waiting for JNT Gaming. Look at the 3 different nationalities and 3 different teams on the podium. You have the US up there, the Dutchies up there, and you have France up there as well with Red Fire Tiger. Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. It was JTK's day in Texas. He takes victory, and it's his 2nd one of the season. He's making himself a name here in RPL, to say the least. He's really worked well. He managed those medium tires just to perfection. It was never easy.
Enjoyable Grand Prix.
It was not bad.
I'm happy at the result at the top. JTK really deserved the win after getting the overtakes done on Red Fire Tiger and playing strategically, holding his ERS. JNT with a last lap dash, just not near the end of the race dash. Just wasn't enough. You need one more lap probably, and maybe a better ERS conservation as well. And the Red Fire Tiger, brilliant job. Gets the fast lap point as well. So good stuff. And Dom in the Haas with a brilliant P4 as per usual. This man is unbelievable. He should be in Tier 1 full time, but he's here in Tier 2 because he can't do Tier 1 full time. And maybe we should give him an F2 car.
Merton and Lajovic, the only 2 drivers that ended this race not finishing. Last season in Texas, we had no retirements in the race. a different scene this season in Texas. There were your final results, folks, that we just showed you on our screen. JTK, a second victory of the season, a fourth in RPL. Ever since he won last season for Red Bull for the first time, Eoin, he's really found his strides here in RPL, and he has risen to the occasion when it's mattered. And JNT Gaming, too. I know it's not that first victory, but it feels like every time that we talk about him being at a chance to win, it's always one step closer. And it seems like today was one step closer. You remember the race in France not too long ago, Eoin, when it was just too little too late that he overtook Hunted. This time he overtook Red Fire Tiger. Was it too little too late, or could he still have done it? It seems like he was a lot closer to victory this time than the previous 7 times he had a chance for.
I'm sorry, I was typing. What did you say?
I said it seems I was mentioning France with JNT, and I was going to say how
Yes.
it seems like this time with JNT, it seems like it's that one step closer compared to the previous 7 times.
7 times?
Yeah, 7 times in the podium.
7 tier 2
before
wins.
this.
Or podium?
No,
Or is it
podiums.
Wins? I was like, what?
Podiums. 8
Yes.
tier 2 podiums as of today.
He's come back with a plethora of pace. He always was a pretty good driver, to be fair. But he just wasn't that upper echelon. But he's now doing very well. I'm gonna just try and see what maths. I'm gonna look at the table. Where would that put him in the championship now? So
82% tires for JTK. Fair play.
Is roughly so 25 minus 18 is 7. So he's gained 7 points that race. So he's 8 points behind JNT in the standings now. So good job. And this championship fight is cooking. There's many a driver involved.
Yeah, and the only
I'm
team
looking forward to
in
it.
the constructors fight, Eoin, that didn't have the race that they would have wanted today is McLaren. They had a stinker with Valkyrie at the end after her collision with Invade, but Mercedes scored good for double points. Invade was up there. J&T finished second, and Red Bull, who came in today leading the constructors championship, only got 15 points at Red Fire Tiger, but those 15 points might matter come the end of the season.
And I mean, look at the constructors championship. Yeah, Red Bull are just, well, I'm not sure if they're going to be leading the championship after that race. Mercedes could be up there now. But yeah, critical after a few disaster performances. They've the no score in France was horrific, and then Italy was good, a race win, but one retirement. So in the last 3 races. Okay, the first race did for Red Bull retire. Well, no, in all races this season that a Red Bull finished, only one finished in the points. So in Britain, Grandpa won and his teammate finished P11, that was red. In Austria, Grandpa won and his. Oh, sorry, I'm lying to you. Don't worry, just ignore me. I'm wrong.
That's okay. I don't mind.
Well, I thought a really cool stat there, but I was there.
It's okay. I was going to say, we have more racing to continue this weekend. Remember, there's no Formula Endurance anymore, so we only have F1 Tier 1 to kick off, or to end off the weekend, not kick off the weekend, end off the weekend tomorrow in Portugal. Can the championship get won there? There's a very slim chance, but Cookie can do it. Cookie can win the championship tomorrow. Find out if he can. We've got some interesting stuff going on for tomorrow's event in Portugal. Reese Dainty, he has a race ban, and that's the second season in a row he's had that happen. We'll find out if the second Red Bull driver, which probably will be Gecko, can put the pressure on Cookie. We have a lot of storylines into tomorrow's event with driver changes, drivers being penalized, drivers potentially winning the championship. We'll have it all worked out for you come tomorrow's event in Portugal for F1 Tier 1. Next week for Tier 2, folks, we are in Canada. Make sure you tune in then or tomorrow for F1 Tier 1 in Portugal or Tier 2 in Canada. We'll see you then for the halfway point of the season for Tier 2 or tomorrow in Portugal for F1 Tier 1. I'm your commentator, folks, Ryan Searles, and alongside me, Eoin McMoran, signing off for the event. We will see you then. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah, man. Goodbye.